Hey guys, this is Arrow here on behalf of Missing Link Consulting Services, and man, what a few weeks we've had in the gaming industry with the upcoming launches. With Sony prepping their PS5 platform and Microsoft launching their Series S and Series X both in November, it's clear that both sides are taking two different approaches to the upcoming generation, and yet in some ways are looking very similar. While Microsoft has one more showcase planned before launch, let's take a look into both companies to see what their business models are looking like coming into the holiday season. Please note that this isn't a comparison of games, but the business and marketing strategies implemented. So both consoles have released their price points, and while it was what we expected from both, there are a few surprises here which will make this holiday season something to definitely watch for. In the showcase today, Sony announced the base PS5 model to be $499, while the digital version will be $399 at launch. On the other side, Microsoft is launching the Series X, which will launch at $499 as well, with the Series S launching at $299. It's clear here that the Series S is the cheapest option in the next gen, but it's been discussed that it will run games at a lower performance point than the Series X, along with running digitally. While the digital PS5 is $100 cheaper than the base model, we don't know the specs of the system yet, so we can't even compare it to the Series S currently. We do know that both PS5 models have a state-of-the-art storage device, which could explain the increase in price for the digital models. Between the two companies, however, it should be noted that for most console generations, the hardware is generally sold at a loss at the launch, and the costs are recouped as they sell consoles, games, and accessories over the years. One story that's still developing is the rumor of console production issues for the PS5. Not sure of the details, but due to an important component in the chips, production as well as sales projections are allegedly decreasing, but it should get back to normal by this time in 2021. Nothing has been announced or confirmed so far, but we'll see what happens in the future. Now, while most of this is standard fare, Microsoft has thrown a wrench into things and is heavily touting their All Access program. While this program was available the previous generation, they really are pushing it heavy for the launch. The program basically gives you an Xbox console on a lease-to-own pricing model, with the Series X costing $34.99 a month and a Series S costing $24.99 a month, both including their Game Pass service. This gives Microsoft an even cheaper path to the next gen and also provides a long-term cost benefit. Over the 2-year contract, the cost for the console as well as Game Pass is actually about $50 to $100 cheaper in the long run, depending on the console. With most media moving to subscription-based models such as Netflix and Hulu, this seems like a great move for a company more talented on the digital side of things and less on the manufacturing side. Well, what does this mean? This means that Microsoft is banking that by providing everyone with the console, if they keep their subscriptions after 2 years, everything that they make is pure revenue, and with an established user base, they can significantly increase their profitability. Game Pass is arguably the best deal in gaming, providing around 100 games to the user on both Xbox and PC for unlimited play for $15 a month. The power of this model isn't to be underestimated, as even after coming into a screeching halt halfway through the generation in their console sales, Microsoft managed to have consecutive record years for the Xbox division. They look to continue that trend. Sony, not to be outdone, decided to do the same thing and recently announced an enhancement to their PlayStation Plus online program, allowing users to play a handful of games at no additional cost. While Sony is not on Microsoft's level in terms of software capabilities, they realized that the subscription-based model has brought record profits to their competitor and decided to do the same, which makes perfect sense, especially with the recent announcement that all games are now being priced higher than the previous generation at $69.99. It isn't known how users will react to this increase, but if buying a singular game will be too much for consumers, then the subscription models will be the next best option. So, even now, what will make this generation different? Well, for the first time since both Sony and Microsoft were in the console gaming industry together, we are seeing clear distinctions in their marketing strategies. The previous generation saw both companies tout the specs on their new consoles as well as the new exclusive games, which Sony has continually had an advantage in. Well, Microsoft, being the newer company into the market, has shown that they are not going to play by the same rules. Whereas Sony, for the most part, is sticking to their strategy of delivering high-quality games for the consumer, which has led them to gaming dominance this past generation, Microsoft is spreading themselves into different avenues by splitting their efforts between their new consoles, along with their Game Pass and cloud gaming services across both console, PC, and mobile gaming. To put it into sports terms, would you want to be on a team with decent role players and Michael Jordan, or a team with 5 good players? What Sony has going for it is its customer satisfaction, with some of the best games over the past generation being exclusive to their own platform. Sony is baking that the expectation of more high quality titles and the recent announcement of high profile games such as Final Fantasy 16 and God of War 2 coming to the console in the upcoming years should keep their demand high. So what does Microsoft have going for it? As stated before, they don't have the catalog to compete with Sony, and that's coming from an unbiased, objective standpoint. What they do have is a more established plan and ecosystem in place, one that can be traced all the way back to 2013 with the announcement of the Xbox One platform. While the announcement itself was a disaster, with many of the features being scrapped prior to launch, many of those ideas were built around the idea that they wanted you to do everything on your Xbox. The OG Xbox One could play games, watch TV, live stream, web chat. It could even sense your heart rate with its Kinect sensor. Also, some of the scrapped ideas were providing folks with a digital marketplace to buy, sell, and trade digital games, along with game sharing amongst friends digitally. These ideas were warped into what we now have as Game Pass and xCloud. This isn't something that was put together as a response to their competitors, but something that they worked on for years using the near unlimited resources at Microsoft. The benefit they have over this is that Microsoft knows that Xbox is barely significant in their overall business performance. Even if the Xbox model died off, the company will remain one of the most valuable brands in the world. This means that they feel more comfortable than most trying something outside of the box and hopefully capitalizing on it. This generation, Microsoft is putting their chips on the idea that regardless of if you buy or don't buy their console, you will still be using a Microsoft product or service for gaming, which is all they can really ask for. On the other hand, Sony's other market segments have been volatile over the past few years, such as their movie, TV, computer, and music divisions. PlayStation is one of their most profitable and most consistent brands, and it is essential for them to continue to remain that way for the company to thrive. They are not in a position overall to be put in the high-risk, high-reward scenarios, but to continue to deliver that award-winning customer experience and bank on that. They've topped all-time hardware charts with each generation, with some of their games being considered the best ever made, so why fix something that isn't broken? So it may seem like Microsoft is being discussed further in depth here, because it is. Out of the two companies, they're the ones making the most moves, which is usually what happens to the company that's losing the war. Sony knocked it out of the park last gen, and they're looking to stick to their guns. It'll be up to Microsoft to see if it remains the same. One final thing to note is that we have no idea what other surprises await us in the upcoming weeks before launch. Microsoft announced one final showcase is going to happen before launch, which could deliver more news and make this discussion a lot more interesting. Only time can tell. If you like this video, please subscribe. I'll be releasing more videos shortly. Arrow on behalf of Missing Link Consulting Services signing out.